Angry with God. The hardships I faced in Tehran caused me to be angry with God. In Islam, Allah is the creator of every calamity and the source of all pains. Quran, Surah chapter 57, verse 22. Even though I believe this, I expected to see hardships in other people's lives, but certainly not in my own. I believed that because I had tried my best and prayed diligently and lived a good life, that He would show me favor. My obvious expectations of Allah were that because of the obedience with which I had served Him, He would help me. I was more than dismayed when I found myself deserted. It was 1975 when the political regime lost its full control over universities. Students were finally able to meet secretly to discuss problems or their beliefs. I heard some of my classmates rejecting the existence of God, since He was invisible, inaccessible, and unhelpful. I already had a good excuse to share their views with them, so I ignored Allah and became involved with atheist and communist groups. I even called myself atheist after a while. I really didn't understand atheism or communism, but my anger toward Allah provoked me to engage myself in godless activities. I gradually began to doubt God's existence. Who is God? I asked myself. If I don't see Him or His help and cannot touch Him, this means He does not exist. Universities were quickly becoming hotbeds of secret discussions about beliefs and ideas beyond Islam, and I began to lean toward students who were espousing communism. I read books about communism that were distributed secretly among the students. It was still dangerous for students to openly gather to discuss religion or any ideology that might pose a threat to the regime in Iran. Revolutionary students would gather in the mountains in the northern part of Tehran. Students could escape during weekends, as so many people often went to the mountains for picnics. They used this as a cover, but their time was spent planning Iran's future. Two major groups developed who claimed to be against the regime. They were the communist and the fundamentalist Muslims, each with their own subgroups. At the weekend retreats, thousands of students went mountain climbing and sang revolutionary songs. The Shah's civil police were there to spy on the students, and they caught, tortured, and even killed some of them. Nevertheless, the mountains were still more secure for the students than the city. Some of my classmates were involved with the fundamentalist Islamic groups. I had the opportunity to discuss creation and evolution with them. Interesting doctrinal and philosophical questions were raised, some of which were hard to understand. I studied books about both doctrines in order to take a clear stand. Through my studies, I realized that the world could not have been created by itself. I knew that there must be a divine creator for the universe. This realization eventually led me to join the fundamentalist Islamic students and help to overthrow the Kingdom of Iran and bring the Ayatollah Khomeini into power. We blame the Shah for the widespread poverty in a country that had such rich oil resources.